I'm coming to you today with a short routine that would be great to do after a day of travel, whether it's air travel or a road trip, something like that. So let's go ahead and get started. You don't need any props for this routine. We'll start lying down on your back. As you get settled here on your back, keep your head grounded, back of your neck long, feeling your shoulders on the mat, your hips level on the mat or the floor. Even if you don't have a mat, you can do this routine very easily. And from there, press into your feet, lift into a bridge pose, like a medium or even a very low bridge would be good. From there, reach both arms straight up to the ceiling and start to extend your wrists so your palms are facing the ceiling. Begin to rotate your arms out and in, kind of like you're corkscrewing the shoulders, arms rotating, kind of mobilizing and juicing up some joints. Keep going a few more times. Maintain your bridge pose and tell your glutes to hold you nice and steady here. And then last time corkscrewing the arms, point the fingers out left and right. Start to take your right arm down toward the floor. So your fingertips might even graze the floor or hover over the mat, and you are still in bridge with your hips lifted. This is a little nerve glide. It might feel a little zingy in the arms. Good. Then bring it back up and repeat with the left. So left finger's reaching toward the floor, arm alongside here, like your arm's at a T position. And just hold. Bring your arm back up and we'll stretch out the wrists. Take your right hand to your left fingers, pull the fingers back. Take a deep breath in and out. Switch wrists. Deep breath in and out. And relax your arms. You could put your hands on the tops of your hips or alongside, whichever is more comfortable for you. We'll move through several bridge roll downs. So slowly lowering your spine down to the mat and lifting back into bridge. And as you do these, we'll do several, so just keep going at your own pace. But I'd like you to really think lower upper back, then mid back, and low back. Keep it going, nice, steady undulation of the spine. Think about creating some spaciousness within your back. You could be going a little quicker, a little slower than what I'm doing. Both would be totally fine. Just kind of feeling what your body is craving after perhaps sitting in a stagnant position for hours on end. It's nice to move in a variety of ways and really let the spine mobilize, freeing up any sensations of stickiness or stuck feelings. Doing about 2 or 3 more. And on this last one, coming from your bridge pose, I'd like you to just lower your back ribs. So hold your back ribs down, but keep your low back tilting up. And in order to do this, usually requires quite a bit of engagement through the glutes and sort of a hollowing out of the front core, almost like a posterior pelvic tilt. You're just holding that. Often you might feel like, oh, my low back feels elongated or less crunched up, which is a good thing. We want the low back free. It's a very flexible part of the body. We tend to kind of dip into that flexibility when the rest of our pelvic girdle is tight. For example, if the hips are feeling a little tight, usually we default to the low back. It's not really meant for that pivot, but it is a good shock absorber. We want it to be stable, strong. Take one more breath here. And as you exhale, lower all the way. Pause there, just fully reclined on the mat or the floor. And then go ahead, pull your knees into your chest. You can give yourself a nice squeeze, maybe a little rock side to side. And keeping your hands on your shins, start to open your legs like a book for a modified happy baby. So your arms are there to kind of support the legs. And you can hold here from the outside of the shin or reaching from the inside of the legs, grabbing the shins. Either way works. And you can try both, seeing what you like better. And with this modified happy baby, you can stay still or rock a little side to side. You can try both. Next, we'll do a dynamic twist, taking your legs back in close to one another. Knees over hips, lower legs are parallel to the floor. You can take your arms like a goalpost or a T, or even a low V shape would be fine, something that's comfortable for your shoulders. You have space for in whatever space you're doing this routine. And then begin to exhale, knees go over to the left, but hover your legs over the mat or the floor. Don't let them fully drop. On your inhale, come back through center. And on your exhale, take your knees over to the right, hovering over the floor. We're going to do that same thing several times. So inhale through center, exhale to the side, back and forth, left and right, at your own pace. The idea is to utilize some of your core engagement to get the legs to move in this way. All the while, paying attention to your shoulders. Could they stay grounded on the mat and square to the ceiling? Your head and neck are not changing necessarily, so they just stay neutral, perhaps gazing up toward the ceiling. You could even have your eyes closed if it's a time when you're trying to wind down from your day. Just a few more of these dynamic twists, taking it nice and steady, using your breath to help you. Inhale through center, exhale as the knees go to the side. Do one more round. And as you finish up this last round, you'll come back through the center and give your knees another squeeze, like you're hugging in. So holding your legs, giving yourself that nice squeeze. One more from a bridge pose. So planting your feet on the mat, hip width apart. Lift your pelvis up off of the mat. So you're in a medium or low bridge. And start to bring your left knee over your left hip. So this is a one leg bridge. It's pretty intense. That right glute is working. Take your left fingers in your left frontal hip crease, and just a few times I would like you to externally rotate your left hip and then internally rotate your left hip. So you can watch what I'm doing here if that doesn't make sense to your mind. But take a look and see the hip joint where it connects to the pelvis. That's where this action is occurring. It's as if your femur bone, the upper leg bone, is rotating out and in, kind of like corkscrewing the hip. We already corkscrewed the shoulders, now we're doing the hip, back and forth, back and forth. Try to smooth it out. Keep your pelvis from tipping, very steady in the pelvis. And then switch sides. So your left foot will plant, right knee lifts over the right hip, and go ahead, external, internal rotation. As you do these, paying a lot of attention to the pelvis, not letting it sway or tip or sink, keeping it steady. If you have a block, you could put it under your sacrum here, but if you're traveling and you don't have a block, this is a good one you can do without. But paying attention, pelvis not moving, hold steady here. And then set your foot down and slowly lower. All right, we're going to roll over to all fours to tabletop position. Establishing your nice posture in your tabletop, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, making sure your table is not too wide. And we'll just do a few cows and cats. Inhale for cow, looking forward. Exhale, cat, curling in. Inhale for cow and exhale cat. Just doing a few more of these. Let's add a hip sway. So coming back to your neutral tabletop, start to sway your hips side to side, kind of like you're wagging an imaginary tail. This range of motion could be small, it could be a little bigger. You could get your feet involved or simply keep your feet down and just move in the hips. All right, from here, coming back to neutral, start to hover your left knee off of the mat. Without tipping in your pelvis, keeping your pelvis square to the floor, just draw a circle with that left knee. So you're just circling in the hip joint. It's called circumduction. We like to do about 5 times each direction. So switch directions now and circle it out. Hold your core together. And go ahead and switch legs, hovering the right knee over the mat and circling. Switch directions. And then set that down. You can just sit back on your heels for a moment or take a brief child's pose before our very last move of this routine. All right, coming up, reclining once again on your back. Our final stretch here will be a figure 4, supine figure 4 pose. Start by crossing your left ankle over your right knee. You could stay just like that with your right foot still planted on the mat. Or, second option, starting to draw your thighs in closer toward your chest, holding here. Or, third option, reaching for the back of your right thigh and pulling in. If you don't want to grab the back of your thigh, that's fine. Using core strength to just maintain your legs in this position with your pelvis square and level and even is a really lovely way to control the stretch. Making sure your neck is long and free, so drawing your chin a little closer to your throat perhaps, elongating through your spine. Go ahead and switch sides, crossing right ankle over left knee, and again, you've got your 3 options. Option 1, keep your foot on the floor. Option 2, bringing your thighs in with the strength of your core holding you. Or option 3, reaching the hands to the back of your left thigh and holding. But wherever you are, no need to tip or sway or force this bent knee anywhere. It just lands where it does and you hold. Nice stretch, control in the core, lengthen the spine, a little more freedom in the joints. Uncross, and we're done. Good job.